To install our cattle panel arches in our raised garden beds that have already been established and are already full with soil, the first thing that we did was we dug out a section closest to, like against the side where we were going to put the arch. And then we, using our cattle panel, this is a cattle panel from Tractor Supply. I'll link it below for you. We bring the cattle panel in and we position it so that it is kind of wedged in between the two boxes, as you see here. And then from there, we make sure that both ends are the same length, is wedged in between the boxes. So you can see us adjusting it to make sure that we have the same length on each side. Yeah, Jamie decided he wanted it fixed a little bit more. Once we have it in position, then we tilt it up, making sure that we are continuing to wedge the bottom of the edge, like the short end of the cattle panel in between the two garden beds. This holds the form and makes it a little bit easier to get that arch that we are looking for. Once we have it all the way up in arch position, we put it in place where we want it to go. And then we dig out any additional soil if we didn't dig out enough on the edges of the cattle panel or the edges of the garden bed. And then working with one side at a time, we lift the side. As you can see on this one, we did have to cut out part of it to fit around the support, and we just used a pair of lock cutters for that. So we put it into place. We like to put it in as low as we can, so normally about one block on the cattle panel. And then we're gonna just take some scrap wood and we will wedge the cattle panel in between those two pieces of wood. Jamie forgot the drill and the screws. To make it so it stays in place, we do clamp it in place. You can just hold it if you want. Clamping it makes it so that we can get it really tight, which is something you want because you don't want it to come loose or fall over, especially if you have a lot of plants on your cattle panel. And then we drill the boards together using, I believe we used 3-inch exterior screws. I think he puts maybe 3 or 4 in to hold it in place. Once we have all of the screws in and we're pretty sure that it is secure, we take off the clamps and then we will backfill the dirt into the hole we dug. It is easier to install these cattle panel arches before you fill your beds with dirt or soil. We're adding this arch because we wanted to grow on another arch this year. So it can be done either way. It just is a little bit easier if you're going to do it beforehand. Now on to the next side. Again, it's all dug out for us. We are going to lift it into place and wedge the cattle panel between the edge of the garden bed and that other board. I do believe that we had to cut, yes we did, we had to cut some of the cattle panel to fit this one in between the supports again. But it is the same process. We will wedge the cattle panel in between the two boards, clamp it together, screw it in place, and then backfill the hole. And then we have our cattle panel arch. If we do experience any sagging or drooping while we grow on this arch, we can add some T-post for some extra support. We have not had to do this yet, but I do suspect that we will have to once we start growing some of those bigger squashes that weigh a little bit more. So there you have it, how we make cattle panel arches in our garden. We hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for visiting the farmhouse. If you have any questions at all, please make sure that you leave them in the comments below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can see what we are growing in our garden this year and see how successful these cattle panel arches are. Thanks for visiting the farmhouse, and we will talk to you guys soon.